What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to Maps Exposed. This is the series where I cover all the lines of sight, wall runs, as well as any other secret spots that I know of on every map in Infinite Warfare. In today's episode, we're going to be covering the last of the base maps, and that is Crusher. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so hopping right into it, Crusher doesn't leave too much to the imagination, but I do have some nice lines of sight for you. So first off, right by the Sea Domination flag, if you want to get a line of sight into that doorway, this one's very straightforward, but you can just jump up on the tire here. I don't see people using this very often, and you can lock down that doorway right there. It's relatively situational, but it can be a very effective line of sight. Now getting over to this area right here, this is one of the biggest hotspots on the map. This is where so many kills go down. People will camp on either end of this hallway, and there's always a gunfight going on across this little hallway here. I have a little bit of a sniper spot that you can use. If you jump up over here and you just peek your way through there, you can see you have a decent amount of a crack to shoot through right there. If you're quick with your shot, you will often be able to pick those guys off, and they'll have no clue what hit them, because from their perspective, they see pretty much nothing. They might catch a little bit of your scope glint, but if they're using a full auto assault rifle or something like that, they're not going to be able to realistically pick you off through there before you get your shot off. Also, from right on top of that same spot, I just wanted to point out you get a nice little line of sight into that doorway right there. Only problem with that is if they come through this area here, then they've got a really clear line of sight on you. I guess you have a pretty clear line of sight on them as well, but I just wanted to point out that this line of sight exists as well. Maybe if, I don't know if this is a hardpoint location, I don't play enough hardpoint, but if this is a hardpoint location, that would be quite a nice little line of sight to lock down that doorway. Now pushing from the C flag over towards the direction of the B flag here, a lot of people, if they expect people to come through here, they'll just stand behind this barrel like this. And I mean, that's not terrible because you have cover and they don't. But just an alternative for you guys is to jump up here and crouch. And you can also stand up to get a better line of sight on their whole body. But if you crouch, you're hidden a lot better here and you can pick them off. And this also kind of shields you a little bit from the people that are coming around this way. It just shields you a little bit better than standing on this barrel like that. Also, just a little alternative, I use this quite often when I know an enemy is about to come around this corner, or maybe I want to check towards that wall run. Instead of being out in the open like this, or being like this where you can't actually see them here, you can actually just walk up just a little bit here, and you can see them through there. You can crouch if you wanted to, stand up, you get a great little line of sight through there. Again, not a place I would want to linger all game, but it's just if I happen to know somebody's just on the other side of that wall, I'll pop myself up here, and then that also kind of protects my flank as well. Now getting over to this wall run right here, I see so many people using this wall run, and you're such an easy target when you do that. It's so clear, you can see the entire wall run with really good clarity here. So just an alternative, if I am going to be using this wall run, I often like to jump on here and then get to this inside wall run as soon as possible. And the reason behind that is from their perspective, just assuming they're standing right in this area right here, if they're looking towards this wall run, they'll see you coming from a mile away. They'll see your hand appear and then you slowly come across this wall run. You're an easy target to pick off. Whereas if you jump to the other wall run, it's very sudden as they come around that corner. They jump around this corner and then it takes them a lot longer to lock onto you and get a shot off on you. So I find it's just a much better way to jump to this inside wall run and then jump out and try and challenge them. Now getting into the middle map area, in this middle lane, just a little thing that a lot of people don't seem to be using, and there's so many situations where I see people standing right here, and they try to challenge people across like this, and they don't really have any cover there. For whatever reason, a lot of people don't realize you can simply jump up right here, and look at that. Excellent line of sight across there. You get a great line of sight on those guys, and anybody that could be there, as well as people right here. Obviously, you can still get flanked right here, so it's not perfect cover by any means, but it's a whole lot better than standing out in the open. On the flip side of that, it's not quite as good, but you can still use this quite effectively. You can jump up on this part right here. You can't jump up so much here and actually get a decent line of sight, but if you strafe over right into the corner here, you can get a line of sight over here. You can get a little bit of a line of sight in that direction as well. And again, this is just better than peeking around this corner like this. I also wanted to point out, a lot of times you get people that sit in this corner like this and they aim right there. An amazing way to challenge them, if you can make it up to this piece of cover, is simply right there. You just crouch, and you can easily shoot through this crack, and they'll have no clue what hit them when you pick them off through there. Now, a cheeky little way to pick off the people that like to sit right in here, oftentimes people will come here to get a reload, or just regenerate their health or something, but you might see them on the mini-map, and they might just be sitting right in this corner. I see people doing this far more often than people should be doing that. It's not really a great spot in the first place. And I mean, most of the time, if it's a player that's doing that, you can just jump over and shoot them. because they're usually not going to be the best players if they're sitting in a corner like that. But just an alternative is you can actually come up right behind this tire here, and look at that. You just lay down and shoot them through there. Again, they'll have no clue what hit him if you do that, and it's such an easy kill for you. Now, getting back over by the A flag here, this tunnel right here is quite a common route for people to take. You often see people coming through this tunnel, and if you're trying to lock down this particular area for whatever reason, if the objective is telling you that you need to be locking down this area and you expect people to be coming through that tunnel, instead of like dropping right down like I see a lot of people doing, or like waiting right up here until they get to this area over here, you can come all the way back here and crouch, and you can look through that crack right there. Nice thing about this spot is you'll be able to see their legs and everything, and there is no possible way they'll be able to see you unless they go prone or crouch. You always have the advantage here if you're using this particular line of sight, because it's simply impossible for them to see you. Now, one last line of sight that I have for you guys is inside this building right here. I love using this for opening routes and also just in various situations in the game. The thing is, though, you want to make sure this area is at least relatively safe. Usually I'll only do this if I know I have a teammate somewhere in this little middle area. Otherwise, they'll get flanked and you'll be an easy target to pick off. But instead of using this piece of cover like this, or this piece of cover like this to challenge people that are right over here, I like to just jump up on this railing right here, and look at that. Much better line of sight looking over top here. Gives you a little bit of a height advantage, plus it just puts you in a situation where they wouldn't normally look, or at least it's not the first place they look, and you can always crouch to take complete cover from them. So I really like using this line of sight. Just always be aware of that doorway if you plan on using this line of sight. So there we have it. That's going to wrap it up for all the spots I have for you on the map Crusher. Like I said, we've now covered all of the base maps, unless for whatever reason I'm missing one, but I'm almost sure I've covered all of the base maps. I will leave a link to the playlist down below if you've missed any of them, and I guess we're just going to have to wait for the next DLC to continue this series. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.